Hi, I'm Tom here with the front office. This blog, and I guess this is the vlog, me checking myself and kind of as just the backup and proof that there was no funny business going on with this. I am flipping a quarter to determine the winner of the first bracket that I'm filling out for the 2021 men's college basketball tournament. I've been doing this for probably about 8 years now, started in 2012, 2013, so 8-9 years. I will flip a coin, one flip per matchup. The higher seed is heads, lower seed is tails. Just trying to figure out like a fun way to do it. You know, it's such a crapshoot when you're filling out these brackets, so you might as well say, do I have a better chance at picking a winner if I'm flipping a coin than if I'm using my brain and using the internet to determine winners. Historically, I've had one seed win, but unfortunately that was in 2018 when I had Virginia win it all, but they lost to UMBC in the first round as a 16 seed. So historically, if a 1 seed does win, look out for that 1 seed to lose to the 16 seed. That's all I have to say. This is a 1977 U.S. quarter. Didn't want to pick one with a state on the back. Heads, tails, just the generic heads and tails. Didn't want any funny business. I will try to use this quarter throughout. If it falls off the table that I use, then so be it. I'm going to flip it, just flip it like that for consistency purposes and let it play. Let it fall. Wherever it falls, it falls. So without further ado, first matchup will start out West, Gonzaga versus Norfolk State, Appalachian State. That's one of the playing games. It is... It's tails. So Gonzaga's out. Second matchup, Oklahoma versus Missouri. It is heads. We got Oklahoma. Third matchup, Creighton, UC Santa Barbara. Creighton moves on. Virginia, Ohio. Now, Virginia, Ohio is interesting. Virginia might not make it to the game. They might be traveling as late as Friday for a Saturday game. So this might be one of the first times we see a team like Louisville, who's on hold, play in this game. So, but for the time being, as it stands right now, it's going to be Virginia, Ohio. And Virginia moves on. Then we got USC versus the winner of Wichita State, Drake. USC. Big fan of heads right now. I think the only matchup that's gone tails is the 16-1. 3-14, we got Kansas versus Eastern Washington. And it's tails. So Eastern Washington moves on. Oregon, VCU. Then we got Iowa versus Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon. If students are able to go to this game, then Grand Canyon would be pretty electric. Michigan versus, I think it's Mount St. Mary's, Texas Southern. I think that's the matchup. Let's see. Another 16 seed winning. So, injuries from Michigan. With the coins telling me that's going to have a huge impact. All right, LSU, St. Bonaventure. That's heads. LSU moves on. Colorado, Georgetown. Colorado. So Georgetown's run ends. They had the big 4 wins in 4 days to win the Big East tournament. Patrick Ewing, after not being recognized at the Garden, rattled off 4 wins. Great story. Really pulled for them, but the coin thinks otherwise. Florida State, UNC Greensboro. All right, this is going to go to UNC Greensboro. So this one seems like it's more falling in the favor of, actually it's 50-50 right now, heads, tails. BYU, Michigan State. UCLA, so the winner of that game. And that's going to go to Michigan State, UCLA. Could easily see that happening. Texas Albanine Christian, I think that's what it is. Yeah. And that is heads. Texas moves on. UConn, Maryland. So UConn, a 7 seed. The last time they were a 7 seed, the only time in program history they won a national championship. So let's see if, the coins fall in their favor this time. Oh, that flip. Count it. Heads, UConn moves on. Alabama, Iona. So, if these two teams played football, Alabama would win by, a few hundred, because I don't even think Iona has a football team. But basketball, it might be a little bit closer, and we'll see what the coin thinks. Tough one for Rick Pitino. Alabama moves on. Moving up to the South region, Hartford, Baylor. And Hartford moves on. So right now, 3 for 3. The 16 seeds are putting a beating on the number 1 seeds. Rough year to be a number 1 seed if you're flipping a coin. UNC, Wisconsin. Heads. UNC moves on. Villanova, Winthrop. So this is one of the 5-12s that I think a lot of people are going to be betting against Villanova, picking against Villanova. I have a hard time going against Jay Wright, but let's see what the coin thinks. Coin's going Winthrop. Apologies, I'm getting a little reckless, but the coin flipping, I just flip it. It falls out, it falls, just looking for as much consistency as possible. If I flicked it up, you might not get as much consistency, so this is just, I think, the best way to do it. And it's the best way to be in front of a camera doing it, so that's how I'm doing it. Purdue, North Texas. Purdue moves on. A little bit of in-state cooking, potentially, but either way. Texas Tech, Utah State. Texas Tech. Patrick Mahomes would be happy. Arkansas, Colgate. More of a Arm & Hammer toothpaste guy myself, but we'll see what happens. That was a crazy flip. This is tails. So Colgate, their up and down style, really playing in favor of the coin as well. Florida, Virginia Tech. That was a wild flip. Tails. Virginia Tech moves on. Ohio State, Oral Roberts. Oral Roberts. All right, finally in the Midwest, we have Illinois, Drexel, the Drexel Dragons. Can they pull off all 4 16 seeds, making it farther than the 1 seed? And looks like they will. That is tails. So all 1 seeds are out. Loyola Chicago, Georgia Tech. This, I think, is going to be a great matchup. Probably one of my personal favorites. I cannot wait for this matchup. I could see it going either way, but let's see what the coin thinks. And the coin is on Sister Jean's side, going Loyola Chicago moving on. Tennessee, Oregon State. Computer works. Let's see. Oregon State moves on. Oklahoma State, Liberty. And that is Liberty. San Diego State, Syracuse. Syracuse, probably a questionable decision having them in. If they were going to be in, you might have thought they were going to be in one of the playing games, but they made it outright. Probably be a really good matchup. See how San Diego State's able to attack the zone. I think that's usually what people say. It's hard to prepare for a zone on a short week or even 1 week. But yeah. And Syracuse, the zone, plays well with the coin. Syracuse moves on. West Virginia, Morehead State. And the Mountaineers move on. Clemson, Rutgers. Rutgers is back in football, looking pretty good now. But Clemson would still have them beat on the football field. We'll see what the coin thinks basketball-wise. Rutgers moves on. And Houston, Cleveland State. Cleveland State moves on. So, a lot of upsets. Pretty even, I'd say, if we're looking, through the first round, whether it's, the higher seed or the lower seed winning. Going back up west, up top, we got Norfolk State, Appalachian State in the second round, or Norfolk State, Appalachian State versus Oklahoma. This was looking like heads. So 16 seed in the Sweet 16. Wow. Creighton, Virginia. I'm really hoping whoever wins this matchup could really pull a heads in the next matchup, because kind of need that. Yeah, let's see. Ooh, it's spinning. This one does not want to go. Heads. So that would be Creighton. I guess I should clarify in terms of which one's on top. In the first round, it's always the higher seed on top. But in the second round and beyond, it could potentially be the lower seed on top. The one on top of the bracket, the top team listed, that's the one that gets heads. The bottom team gets tails. USC, Eastern Washington. USC moves on. VCU, Grand Canyon. Going to VCU. All right, now in the East region, we have Mount St. Mary's, Texas Southern versus LSU. Really hoping for tails. Nope. 16 seeds. The 16 seeds are like, no, we're winning. You're going to need us to win. This is our year. We're playing on a neutral court, levels the playing field a little bit. Check out the John Rothstein interview with Pat and the boys on the front office on our Instagram. He mentioned that, no fans, neutral environment more so than usual, because you have, usually the higher seeds will play kind of in a geographically favored location, so you have more fans travel there to see him play. We're going to see it play out. So this might be the year that, I don't know if we're going to see this many 16-1 upsets. I actually could probably say for certain that we won't, but I can say we'll probably see more upsets than usual. Colorado, UNC Greensboro. Colorado moves on. Michigan State / UCLA versus Texas. Michigan State, UCLA moves on. Then we got UConn, Alabama. UConn moves on. It's UConn in that 7 seed, man. And I could easily see that happening. UConn, they get in the tournament. It's really hard to stop UConn. Hartford, North Carolina, moving up to the South region. Hartford. Wow. So 2 teams in Connecticut moving on to the Sweet 16. We have all 16 seeds still in the mix. Winthrop versus Purdue. Purdue moves on. So Indiana stands strong. Texas Tech, Colgate. Texas Tech moves on. Virginia Tech, Oral Roberts. Oral Roberts moves on. Drexel, Loyola, Chicago. So now we're down in the Midwest region. The Drexel Dragons finished off 4 for 4. All 4 16 seeds did win in the 1 seed. The flip of a coin. Can all 16 move on to the Sweet 16? No. Loyola Chicago and Sister Jean putting in work. They're moving on to the Sweet 16. Oregon State, Liberty. Liberty moves on. Syracuse, West Virginia. Syracuse moves on. That zone, man, it's going to get really tough. Rutgers, Cleveland State.
Oh, crap. It's tails.
So Cleveland State moves on. Norfolk State, Appalachian State versus Creighton. Okay. Will a 16 seed make it to the Elite Eight? This is getting really nerve-wracking for me. I'd really like to have a bracket that finishes out with a realistic winner. But, you know, it's March Madness for a reason. It's meant to be. See if a 16 seed could keep doing it. And they will. This coin just wants the 16 seeds. They just want it. It's insane. USC, VCU. VCU moves on. So we have a 16 versus a 10 in the Elite Eight up there. Mount St. Mary, Texas Southern versus Colorado. Another 16 seed moves on. Michigan State, UCLA versus UConn. UConn. I'm telling you, that 7 seed in UConn doing wonders right now. Moving back up to the South region, Hartford versus Purdue. Will another 16 seed move on, this time to the Elite Eight? No idea where that quarter went. That was a terrible flip. And that is tails. Just make sure it's the same one. Yes, this is the 1977 tails. So Purdue moves on to the Elite Eight. Texas Tech versus Oral Roberts. Texas Tech moves on. So I'm really hoping for that South region right now. You know, those are two teams. Crazier things have happened. A 4 versus 6 in the Elite Eight. I could easily see that happening. Loyola Chicago versus Liberty. You're in the Midwest region. Sweet 16 matchups. Liberty moves on. So, Sister Jean, your run-ins here. Syracuse, Cleveland State. Syracuse. All right, Elite Eight matchups. We have Norfolk State, Appalachian State versus VCU for the first one. And VCU moves on. VCU, actually, a decade ago, made it to the Final Four, if I'm not mistaken. Made it the year UConn won. And, so now we have UConn, actually, in this next matchup, versus Mountain St. Mary's Texas Southern, the winner of that matchup. So, yeah. UConn's run ends. Mount St. Mary's, Texas Southern. Crazy. Purdue, Texas Tech. Texas Tech moves on. So Mac McClung and the boys in the Final Four. Then we have Syracuse versus Liberty. Syracuse moves on. So in the Final Four, we have 1 16 seed left. Theoretically 2, but it's just going to be 1 after the play-in game with the winner of Mount St. Mary's versus Texas Southern and VCU. VCU is going to be heads. Mount St. Mary's, Texas Southern is going to be tails. And on the other side, we have Texas Tech versus Syracuse. First matchup, VCU, Mount St. Mary's, Texas Southern. VCU moves on. And on the other side, we have Texas Tech versus Syracuse. Texas Tech moves on. VCU versus Texas Tech in the championship. One flip determines it all. Hopefully it's a good flip. All right. And VCU wins the national championship. Thank you for tuning in. For a final score prediction, I'm just going to pick a random number. Let's go 75-74. And I think the VCU Rams are the national champions in 2021, according to my coin flip bracket. So if you trust my picks, if you trust the coin, go with VCU. Actually, you know what? Let's flip up this final score a little bit. Let's make it 77 in honor of the coin's year. Yeah, that just about wraps it up for me. Follow at TFrontOffice on Instagram and Twitter, and follow our content throughout all of March Madness as we finally get March Madness back. All right, peace.